Alright, welcome to my nutritional video series part 2. In part 1 we discussed a definition of a healthy diet and nutrition, and we talk about quantity and quality of food. So today, as part of an educational process for you, because I truly believe the more you understand, the better the decision you make when it comes down to food. Today we're gonna talk about macros. So what are the macros or macronutrients? It's basically the building blocks of the food we eat and are the main nutrients, as the name say, macronutrient in our food. Food has both macronutrient and micronutrient. So macronutrient is what makes most of the food that we eat, while micro is stuff that is in less quantity. So macronutrients are protein, fats, and carbs. And then micronutrient, you have all the vitamins, minerals. The reason why we talk about macros is because not every food is made equal. So we need to understand what each food is gonna be good for. And for today, we're gonna focus on the first macronutrient, which is protein. So protein is first macronutrient in my opinion for importance as well. In fact, proteins are vital. As a living organism, we need protein to survive. So not only you are literally made of protein, but most of your body functions rely on protein. And especially if you like to train in the gym like me, protein is even more essential because it's basically the building blocks of your muscles. So when you go to the gym, you destroy your muscle, and then by eating protein you repair the muscle. So an adequate protein intake is fundamental for building muscle and stay strong. So what foods contain protein? The easiest way is to stick to animal products. Most of animal products will contain protein. Yes, you have vegetarian and vegan plant protein sources. However, they are not as efficient as the animal ones. Now, I don't want to polarize myself on this topic. It's just I want to make it as easy as possible. So let's stick to animal proteins for now. So here I have meat, fish, tuna, eggs, and dairy. Now, why I have these foods here? I want to show you because I want to give you very practical advices. Now that I told you that you need it, I'm gonna give you practical advices. So when we're looking at a macronutrient, for the sake of a good and precise nutrition, I like to get the closest possible form to what's pure. So if I take the beef meat, I want to take the one that is closest as possible to being pure, so with the most amount of protein per quantity, right? So what I have to do, I always have to make sure that I go towards the lean cuts. So for example, this is a 5% beef meat. If I was to get the normal beef meat, this will probably have a 20% fat content. So what does that do? For each 100 grams that I eat, I will get less protein and more fats. So this can make nutrition tricky because, as you can understand, I will have more calories and less protein per quantity of the food that I'm eating. So when it comes down to regulate your diet, you really want to make sure that you keep this as close as possible to the purest form. For example, this can of tuna is basically for 100 grams of product, you have 27 grams of protein with basically very little to none fats and very little to none carbs. So this is a very good lean protein source, and it's the stuff that we want to make sure that we incorporate as much as possible in our diet. Eggs. I love eggs. However, eggs is formed by the white part of it, which is mainly protein, and then the yolk, which is mainly fats. So in this case, when I'm gonna eat the whole egg, I'm gonna have protein and fats, which is basically most of protein sources will be in the natural form containing fats and protein. And the same as the beef, it gets a little bit tricky. That is why I will encourage you to eat mostly the white of the egg, so the egg white, the white of the egg. What am I thinking? And finally, you have the dairy. So dairy is the same thing. It's both protein and fats. So if you choose dairy as your protein source, just make sure you go for the low fat or no fat option. So just to recap, the best form of protein sources are animal sources. That includes meat, eggs, dairy, and fish. Yes, you have plant-based protein, but the conversation gets a little bit trickier, and I'm not gonna go into that. I might do a separate video about it. What is important to know when selecting your protein source is knowing that in their natural form, every protein will have some fats with it. So we need to choose lean cuts of meat, lean fish, and lean dairy, and the egg white, because we want the purest form of the product. So now that we know why proteins are important and where to find protein, let's have a look at how much protein do we actually need. As a rule of thumb, your protein intake will depend on your body weight, muscle mass, body fat levels, level of activity, and goal. Now, to make it simple, as a rule of thumb, we're looking at 2 grams of protein per kilo of body weight. So an 80 kilo man will require 160 grams of protein per day. What does that mean in practical? For example, one chicken breast has roughly 30 grams of protein. So give or take, you will need 5 chicken breasts a day. Now, I'm not encouraging you to eat chicken breast 5 times a day, but this is just to make you understand that you will require to have 5 meals throughout the day, and each meal with a portion of protein. So this is in fact the first thing that I will encourage you to do, is making sure you have a protein source every meal of the day. And obviously you can vary throughout the day. Like for example, I have eggs for breakfast, then I have protein powder in my porridge, then I will have chicken or tuna for lunch, I will have some beef or some fish for dinner, and then I will have protein powder inside my yogurt at night. So this allows me to have a similar amount of protein throughout the day, which in total will give me the amount of protein that I need on a daily basis. Again, remember, from a calorie standpoint, you want to make sure that you keep your protein sources on the lean side. Otherwise, as you try to get more protein, you will also get the fats up, which will increase your calories. Now, high calories is not a bad thing per se, but it depends on your goal. So just make sure you know your goal and you know what you're eating. So very important, check the labels. This is very important at the beginning of this journey for you to understand what actually put in your mouth. Alright, so that was it for today. We touched upon the macronutrients, and we touched upon the first macronutrient, the protein, which is actually the first practical step that I want you to do. I want you to eat a protein source in each meal of your day, and making sure you have 3 to 5 meals a day. Thank you very much for watching. I will see you very soon, and don't forget to apply everything you learned today. And if you got any question, just let me know and I'll be happy to reply to you. Bye.